You can go crazy, but you don't want to go too crazy, if you know what I mean. Because for example, you need to be spontaneous, where you can do things in the last minute. You just need to make sure that you're looking good, and you also make sure that you ask questions as well. The most important thing is that you have more conversations with people. It doesn't matter if the conversation goes anywhere, but if you don't have any conversation with anyone, you won't really have any results. When you ask other people open-ended questions, they are more likely to talk for a longer period of time. And that's why you don't want to ask yes or no questions. And it's similar to what I just said before, but also as well, you need to ask people follow-up questions. Like even if you ask someone a yes or no question, like what's their name, and they say yes, that's their name, or they say no, that isn't their name, you need to ask like a follow-up question. Like what do people like to do in their spare time? And then you give people compliments. If you want to be socially confident, where you can just talk to anyone, it's going back to what I said earlier, where you just ask people questions and you go to new places. Because when you go to new places, you haven't really been there before, but you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable position. And if you're lost as well, you just need to make sure that if you're ever lost, that you ask people questions. Let's say for example, I'm in this area now, and I'm just stuck in this park and I'm really lost and I don't know my way back and my phone is wasted. I have no one to call and I have no money to really get to where I want to be. The only option that you really have is to ask people for directions. But that's why as well, when it comes to you being lost, you need to make sure that you're also proactive as well, that you've done everything you can to try and find your way back. Like for example, you look for signs, you make sure that you retrace your steps as well. You need to make sure that you're not surface level. You ask people the right questions, you get to know people, you observe people's behavior. And then also, if you can read the room as well, that really helps with being socially confident. Because some people can't read the room and people don't really like them as much. And that's why when it comes to being socially confident, you want to be liked, but then also you want to be disliked because you can be very honest. Because if you're lying to other people and you're lying to yourself, you realize it holds you back and it holds other people back. The next thing that I'm going to say, if you want to be socially confident and to talk to anyone, is by going with your instincts. And most of the time, people second guess themselves. They don't really know how to make a decision. And if you can't make a decision of the places to go, the people to meet, you realize that you never really move from where you really are. And even the outfits that you want to put on, you need to make sure that you're planning the outfits, you're waking up at certain times. And you need to make sure as well that you know what to say in a conversation, because if you prepare questions and you know what to say, you can then control the conversation. You don't want someone else to always lead the conversation, because when someone else is leading the conversation, they talk about things which they like and it's not really what you want. And obviously you want to listen to people, but you don't want to just be like sitting there and then someone's just talking all the time. The last thing that I'm going to say about being socially confident is by being rational, because you need to make sure that you know who you're meeting, you actually trust the people that you're meeting, and you ask questions to get to know people more. Because if you're just meeting anyone, it means that you have no boundaries in the first place, where you can think about every single outcome, whether it's good or whether it's bad, and what would happen if you meet certain people at certain times. But then also as well, you need to be like emotional as well. You need to feel the emotions, feel happy about something, you feel sad. You need to have a balance of being emotional and being rational, because you can't have one without the other.